The Houston Rockets have found their not-so-secret weapon in Alperen Şengün as head coach Ime Udoka notes that there are going to be new challenges to this upcoming season, and Alperen Şengün is already excelling at the most important one for him at the EuroBasket tournament. Welcome into Rockets Digest, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. I appreciate you tuning in to today's show. I have so much to discuss around Alperen Şengün and what Ime Udoka has had to say about his performance in the EuroBasket tournament. So let's get going right away here as we talk about some new challenges for this Houston Rockets team. The biggest trade of the offseason, I would argue, across the NBA, involved the Houston Rockets and the Phoenix Suns, in which the Rockets swapped Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, 5 second-round picks over to Phoenix in exchange for KD. However, this was a good trade in a lot of ways, but there is a caveat. Dillon Brooks was a great defensive player, and it was a big part of getting him inside and allowing a little bit of less stress on Alperen Şengün, at least defensively. And for Şengün, it has been, I'm not going to say a struggle defensively, because anybody who is not an elite or a huge, big center, Alperen Şengün does just fine at. He's been able to keep that down. But this past year, his defensive rating took a huge plummet, especially against the elite or bigger centers, talking Jokic and guys like that. It's been a little bit more tough for Mr. Alperen Şengün. Well, luckily, in the EuroBasket tournament, he's gotten to face some of these upper-level guys, and Ime Udoka has taken notice, obviously, watching these games and, talking with Alperen, and he says that Alperen Şengün's X factor about this season could save the Rockets in terms of their championship hopes heading into the 2025-2026 season. So, lots to talk about, but I do want to start with how well Alperen Şengün is playing. He has now made it to the championship game for Turkey, for Turkish national team, I should say. And here are his stats as of now, before the championship game. He's averaging 20.8 points per game, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1.1 steals, plus a 0.9 block average at just 23 years old. Again, it's not NBA level talent, but this is some of the best international play you're going to get across the globe. So, love to see what he's been able to do, and the continuation there is really good. So, let's kind of talk about it from a report perspective. GC Bellchamber of Space City Scoop saying, quote, "In the course of Turkey's run to the EuroBasket semifinal, Şengün has played a massive role on both ends of the court, and his performance on both offense and defense have turned heads around the NBA, including his own organization." And that's where we go to what Ime Udoka was talking about Alperen Şengün yesterday. They had a community event for the Houston Rockets. Udoka was out there, and media got to talk to him for the first time in a bit. Obviously, getting close to the season, it's kind of been a little bit of a layoff in terms of media coverage and getting to talk to him, but here's what he had to say about Alperen Şengün and what he has seen from him at the EuroBasket. He said, quote, "Had some really big end-of-game plays defensively that won them games. It's great to see the work he put in be rewarded." This goes back far beyond just this past season, but Ime Udoka, as you know, is a very defensive-minded head coach. And so when you look at the landscape of the Houston Rockets, to play on Udoka's team, to have solid minutes, you have to be good at defense. And Şengün, for as good as he was coming out of international play, it was a little bit of a lesser caliber on defense than what maybe Ime Udoka's expectations were. And so over the past 2 years, Alperen Şengün has grown in that defensive role. And last year, it was fantastic across everybody except those star-level centers. And that was what Ime Udoka talked about in the early parts of this offseason, challenging Alperen Şengün to become one of those top defensive centers, be able to go head-to-head with Jokic and not fall, not be backed down. And that's exactly what he's able to do in the EuroBasket tournament, because guess what? He was literally stopping Nikola Jokic, which is where we go here with a GC Bellchamber of Space City Scoop saying, yet he has also shown off his defense on the interior, facing off against a European big man, including Nikola Jokic, and utilizing his physical and agile footwork to limit their effectiveness on the interior, end quote. And that's exactly what Ime Udoka was talking about. The best part about Alperen Şengün is definitely the way that he has been able to grow so quickly for the Houston Rockets. And if he can add this defensive facet where he is going against Nikola Jokic and some of the top big men, you want to talk about even past that. I mean, there's a lot of guys you want Alperen Şengün to basically make a little bit less. I mean, even Draymond Green in their series against the Warriors had a little bit of success against Alperen Şengün. And people are starting to take notice. Fred VanVleet sees that Alperen's going to be playing in that championship game at the EuroBasket. they're loving it. And Fred was actually one of the first guys. He came up to Turkey to see Alperen Şengün with Dillon Brooks. Kind of a sad meeting because I was obviously post-trade, but it was a promise that Dillon Brooks and Fred VanVleet made. They both went up there, both held true to their promise, and now they're getting to watch their friend and, for Fred VanVleet, his still teammate, really, really, really ball out. So that's a fun thing to see. Want to go back here real quickly, look at the stats as we look for Alperen Şengün in this tournament and kind of compare them to his NBA regular season. Now, again, this is obviously not an NBA court. This is obviously not NBA talent. However, when you are playing in a league like this and the understanding and how Alperen Şengün is playing, the defense is all over you. So he's doing this while literally every team is planning for Alperen Şengün, and it's not working for them. 20.8 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 1.1 steals, and 0.9 blocks. Whereas we go to his 2024-2025 NBA stats, 19.1 points per game, so right around that mark. Same for the rebounds, but the big number, 4.9 assists per game and compared to 7 in the EuroBasket. That's the big number that I look at in terms of offensive numbers, specifically because Alperen Şengün and the way that probably people are going to be looking at the Houston Rockets now is forcing it out of the hands from Şengün, forcing it out of the hands of Kevin Durant. They're going to want to make Amen Thompson shoot. They're going to want to make Fred VanVleet shoot. They're going to want to make Jabari Smith Jr. shoot. Now, they are really good shooters by far, but in terms of the way that the NBA defenses are going to structure, they know the double big is going to be something that is hard to guard. So Alperen Şengün, when that happens, they're going to try and take him out of the game. KD is obviously going to have help all around him pretty much every single time. So it's a way that it goes. And for now, we have to kind of just see how NBA defenses are going to, be able to, be intense on Şengün. And that's kind of what GC Bellchamber says here on Space City Scoop, saying, quote, while in the past, the team's defensive front has largely been reliant upon their agile and intense perimeter defenders, including Brooks and ascending star Amen Thompson, the loss of Brooks and the addition of Durant star will put more pressure on Şengün. Therefore, while Şengün has proven to be a dominant offensive presence and has even developed a perimeter shot in the EuroBasket tournament, becoming an elite defensive center as well in this next logical progression in his game. Continues on to say, if he is able to do so, and if his performance in Europe serves as any indication, the Rockets will continue to be a terrifying team on that end of the court as they vie for a championship game and a finals appearance this season. Alperen Şengün is going to be a key piece, and I think Ime Udoka probably put it perfectly, and specifically the headline that we showed you at the start of this video. If the Houston Rockets are able to have a defensive presence that Alperen Şengün is showing in the EuroBasket in the same light in the NBA, that will change the way this team looks. We are already a very impressive defensive team. You lose that on Dillon Brooks, a lot of intensity, a lot of good defensive pressure there. But if the improvement across the board from Alperen Şengün, Amen Thompson was already first team defensive, one of the first team on the defensive teams for the NBA. I really do think this team could be even better defensively than last year. Now, Kevin Durant's not no all-star defensive guy, but he is not no scrub either. I mean, this guy is very underrated on that defensive front as well. So I'm excited to see it. I'm very much ready for the NBA season to start. And what's today? It's September 12th. So we have legit less than a month and 10 days until the NBA season starts. So we're excited. We hope you are too. And if you made it to the end of the video, we know you are a Rockets diehard fan. So we appreciate you, and we're happy that you have chosen to support us all throughout this offseason, and we're ready for the NBA season. So with that being said, we're getting close to the NBA season. And for our Rockets question of the day, I kind of want to ask you this. In terms of the starting five, who do you think will have the biggest improvement from last year to this year? Will it be Alperen Şengün because of what we've seen in the EuroBasket? Is it going to be Amen Thompson or Jabari Smith? Let me know down in the comment section for our Rockets question of the day. For now, though, we appreciate you. We'll see you next time here on Rockets Digest. Peace out, guys.